The battle for LA basketball got turned up this weekend as the master manipulator in LA turns out to not be LeBron James. It turns out to be Kawhi Leonard. So before we start going to dig into the actual transactions and the meat and gravy of these rosters, I would like to just kind of get a feeling on the buzz in the city of Los Angeles after Kawhi's middle of the night decision or announcement.
Oh, it's hot. I mean, it's lit right now. You know, it's summertime. We've had a couple earthquakes that, you know, were felt all the way in Vegas. You know, people are getting their earthquake kits together. And then Kawhi comes in with the master manipulation that he pulled off, which was brilliant. I got to give it up to him. But right now, LA is I mean, I'm stealing it from you, but right now, LA is the mecca of basketball. You know, you got a potential Western Conference Finals that may not leave the city of LA. So it's special right now. You know, you've got Clipper fans that are similar to Miami Heat fans in 2010 when they got LeBron, Bosh, and Wade, and they hadn't played a single game, and they were throwing parades and you know, that kind of stuff. So you have Clipper fans that are doing that. You have Laker fans who are like, we're good. This means nothing. You're same old Clippers. And then you've got the casual fans who, you know, might root for LA or might root for the Clippers, depending on, you know, the way the wind blows that day, that are just happy for it. They're happy for basketball in LA. So right now the city's lit. It's real hot. We're thinking that the NBA is going to run through LA.
Okay. Jason, any thoughts?
I think it was a great move by Kawhi Leonard. I think it was very smart of him to approach the Clippers and tell them, hey, I need another superstar or all-star, whatever you want to, you know, label PG in your personal mind. I think it was very smart for him to go to them and say, hey, I need you guys to bring someone else here. And I think it was very smart for them to do everything in their power to make sure that PG got there. I at first, when I was looking at the trades, at that acquisition, I said, wow, they gave up a lot to get PG. But at the same time, you know, I saw, I think it was, what's the commentator that does the jump? Rachel
Nichols.
Yeah, Rachel Nichols. I saw her speaking about it, and she was like, if you think about it, they actually gave away 5 first-round picks, a few unprotected, and 2 players for both Kawhi Leonard and PG. And when I started thinking of it like that, it made more sense. I know on paper that, you know, it just says PG, but when you start thinking of it like that, it made a lot of sense in my head. So I think it was good that the Clippers did everything they can to make sure that they had both superstars, and the reality is they needed to have both superstars, because even if Kawhi did decide to go there by himself, they weren't going to have any. I don't think they would have had any chance against LeBron and
AD. There's a lot of things, like so many layers to this, but the things that stand out the most to me, it's the funny things that happen before the actual event that help you understand why things kind of ended up the way they were. All right, so remember the narrative where they said nobody wanted to go to LA to play with LeBron, especially Paul George, right? I wasn't aware at the time that Paul George's agent and Rob Pelinka don't get along. They have a history of beefing with each other. So that was never going to happen, right? So if you knew that Kawhi was cool with Paul George and possibly Paul George might even like come to the Clippers, you would already know that he would never go to the Lakers. Kawhi I'm talking about. All right, so that's the first thing. The next thing is that I just feel like the Lakers dropped the ball in regards to allowing Kawhi to have so much time to do what he was doing, because I feel like he did a double whammy on the Lakers.
Right.
He pulled him out of contention for the best free agents with the amount of money that they had to spend, and almost seemingly did it on purpose, knowing he wasn't going to go there in the first place.
And you know what's ill? What's funny?
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about the Knicks. right? Knicks pulled out of Kawhi sweepstakes early.
Because they knew they didn't have a chance.
They knew they didn't have a chance,
Right.
and he was trying to use them also by even scheduling a meeting with them for days in advance. He was trying to schedule a meeting with the Knicks for like last Wednesday. You know what I mean? And that's like, free agency started on Sunday. You just get into the Knicks on Wednesday. And that's what he did to the Lakers. He held them hostage just to get more leverage, which is exactly what he's supposed to do.
He got more leverage, but he also crippled his competition. He knew that LA was going to be his competition. So if you screw
The whole
them
thing.
through the entire process,
Right.
it messes everything up. But even more importantly, he was a double agent. He was doing secret
But
intel.
this
He's
is-
talking to everybody, trying to see how the office works, what's happening,
Right.
are they getting along? Like he really,
This is the great thing about the power that the NBA players have when they
Yeah.
used to choose that power, use that power wisely. In this case, it was used wisely. In the Kevin Durant case, it was used as a deterrent, really, to balance around the league. And the players have so much control, so much power, that the idea that you don't leave it to the general manager, you don't leave it to the team to do these things, you have the power to do that, and then you take that power and you make your own moves, right? So you line up things on one side, let them line up things on the other side to see if they meet. So all of these players, especially the top players, are going and teaming up first,
yeah,
right? So they're meeting first because that's another entity. The entity is not just the team that teams that may be bidding on us. The other entities are the other stars in the universe. It's
Yeah.
almost like a Marvel Comics situation. You got to team up with the right guy, and you have to make that happen, because if you leave it to the team, they're going to mess it up. Because
Yeah.
as we know, Daryl Morey is worshipped as a great NBA GM. And if that is what we look at as the gold standard at NBA GMs suck.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Lakers really just set the table. I think they possibly could have maybe had Kawhi or done other things, but just
They were never getting Kawhi.
No. But I'm talking about historically. They
Yeah.
put
Well,
themselves in a position to not get
I don't
there.
know if that's necessarily true.
No, I'm talking about historically. Like what I'm trying to say is, first of all, the whole Jerry West thing, the relationship is ruined there. The front office has issues. A lot of people don't really care to work with Rob Pelinka for whatever reason. I can't even tell you specifics. With all of that stuff in line and knowing those things are happening, and also not really understanding the dynamic that Paul George and Kawhi are that cool, they can just hit each other up in the middle of the night while an earthquake is going on, to be like, yo, why don't you ask for a trade and come here? Like when you look at everything, I just feel like the Lakers, they just really probably didn't make the best decision and get out of the bidding. They should have been like, yo, you got till 12 o'clock.
They couldn't get out of the bidding, because this is, for them, plan A or plan B is fine.
So they didn't really care.
They didn't really. It would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But if worst case scenario,
We go-
it was all about Bill getting 2 or 3 stars and then putting G League around them
Yeah.
as much as possible, and getting those players that are coming on a minimum. Tim, why were you saying that you don't think that Kawhi necessarily wasn't absolute in terms of not going to the Lakers?
So
By the way, Jock Peterson is coming up, and I think he's coming up versus Vlade in the semifinals. So
yeah, that's going to be good. So I think that we have to examine what Kawhi really did as on a mastermind level, almost the usual suspects type level, because what he did was manipulated everybody on so many levels. So let me start with Sam Presti in Oklahoma City. He basically tampered, which
Yes.
Magic Johnson could say, hey, Giannis looks sexy in his uniform. Can we get fined $500,000?
Was that Magic or Irvin Jr.?
Yeah,
That
stop
was
it.
Magic Johnson.
Oh,
That was
okay,
Magic
okay,
Johnson.
okay,
Stop it.
okay.
I mean, they're cut from the same cloth, so it's all good.
Stop
But
it. And it's
what
cool
he
if you want to do that.
what he basically did was tamper, because he said to him, look, either you're going to trade him to the Clippers, or I'm going to stay with L.A., and Paul George and Russell Westbrook won't sniff a Western Conference final, NBA final for the duration of their contract.
Damn right.
Like, if I go to LA, it's a wrap for the rest of the league. So you might as well trade him to the Clippers and not allow me to go to the Lakers. That was one. Okay? It's the same thing with Popovich telling Demps not to trade AD to the Lakers. Everyone is trying to make sure that the Lakers don't get the super mega team. Right? And so now your boy Kawhi is working that against everybody. It would have been easy for the Lakers to pull out and say, you know what, we're done.
Right.
And go after whom? Because when I ask people, like, who would the Lakers have picked up instead of who they got, tell me who, at the price they signed for, would the Lakers have picked up? Like J.J. Redick, 2 years for 16? Is that, like, are those the type of people we're talking about? Because you have top-tier players, and then you have bench players.
I would like to see y'all get like Terrence Ross.
Well, I think you have top tier players, you have rotation players. You have top tier players, you have starters, you have rotation guys.
But when you have LeBron and AD, like, even your rotational guys have to really know and embrace their role of you're not going to be nothing. Like, you're really going to be passing the rock around, and when someone drives to the basket and kicks it out to you, you better hit the shot.
Yo,
and then you got to play defense on this dude all day.
Bro, Vlad Guerrero is bugging right now.
Yeah, he's going nuts. I see it. He's at 20, right?
What?
So
Oh,
I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, you know, Kawhi, he did. He got over. I really believe that the Lakers got everybody that they needed to surround LeBron and AD. So let me tell you, in the history of the NBA, and you're looking at the PRs, all right? In the history of the NBA, the top three players in PER, player efficiency rating, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Anthony Davis.
Wow.
I'm still taking LeBron James and Anthony Davis if it's just two superstars on the team.
Exactly.
If it's KD and Kyrie, if it's Kawhi and Paul George, if it's CP3 and Harden, like, when you start breaking down the two stars per team, I'm still taking them over any other duo in the league.
Now, that's interesting. I like the Paul George Kawhi combination a little bit better, only because LeBron is 40 in basketball years.
Then that's fine. But LeBron is now, see, what you can't discount is how these players have chips on their shoulders. LeBron is now completely healthy and rested. And he's got a chip on his shoulder because guess what? Nobody wants to play with him. And guess what? We're going to manipulate the league to not play with you. We're going to do things to make sure that no one comes to play with you. So now LeBron has got to look at this and say, you know what? I got to go out and ball out this year. Because there's a reason why these people are saying they don't want to play with me. I'm 40 in NBA years. I can't do it. We just signed AD. So I think he's got a lot to prove this year, whether it's his legacy or whether or not it's just beating the people in front of him. I think this year he's got to ball out.
I think he will. I think he's really hungry. And the other thing that really lets me know he's going to ball out, I think he was offended by some of the rankings where they said he wasn't one of the top players.
Yeah.
And so he's hearing all this stuff. And, I mean, you have to really sit here and think about it. It was only like about a year ago. Actually, you know what? Last Christmas, we were talking about how good LeBron was looking, how the Lakers were doing. They were exceeding our expectations. He's the same dude until he falls off. You just have to wait for it to happen. Everybody can't wait for it to go down because they want somebody else to knock him off the top spot. But LeBron is LeBron. And he's never had, well, besides the Heat team where he had the big three, he's always worked with some spare parts and maybe Kyrie might be around. It's always been like that. He and Kyrie won against Golden State. So Anthony Davis is an upgrade in terms of probably the best player he's ever played with. I think he'll be fine.
Oh, for sure.
You want to